Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to today's Friday Reflections on the 17th of March 2023. I hope you're well wherever you're tuning into this from and looking forward to the weekend. Jummah Mubarak. This is the last Jummah or the last Friday before Ramadan, which is rapidly approaching us and will be upon us next week. So, it's really a special time in the year. And I hope we're all looking forward to Ramadan and the opportunity of getting closer to Allah and purifying ourselves more. Inshallah. I mean, we all a long way from it, so it's great to have the opportunity. Today, I would like to read something from this wonderful book, Rising Sun of the West. It's by a sheikh who lives in Canada called Shaykh Nurjan Mirahmadi. He's also the sheikh of the Mohammedan Way. And this is one of his books that he has published based upon his teachings. This was published in 2019, so it's quite recent publication. And I wanted to read from something that I've been reading recently, because I've been reading through this book myself. And yeah. Protect your heart more than your wealth. Ya Rabbi, which means, O Lord, let me be vigilant upon my heart and what is trying to come to my heart and what is trying to attack my heart. Your heart becomes more precious than your home. You can see people and what they prioritize in life. If your home has 20 carats of diamonds and I drive by your house, I bet everything will have solid metal and be locked. All night long, you'll be thinking someone is going to come and break through the window and steal everything. Where am I going to hide it, i.e. the diamonds? I will dig in the ground and dig, and then I'll also make all the doors and windows with steel. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is for dunya, material world. Imagine what I am putting and bestowing of reality into your heart. Why are you so quick to put it everywhere so that it can be stolen? It means then pious people are vigilant of their heart. They don't go anywhere where it is not necessary to go. They don't open their heart where it is not necessary to open, because they know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is depositing a treasure within the heart. And Shaitan knows it and wants to just pick at it until you have shak, until you have doubt in your belief. If doubt begins to enter the belief, know that Shaitan is mining your heart. He is pulling it out. He has got all of the treasures, and it is a full-on raid. This book is one of the books of Shaykh Nurjan Mirahmadi. You can see his photo on the back there. He does regular sohbets on his channel, The Mohammedan Way. It's very good, actually. Even I watch them myself. I give my own, but I also learn a lot from him. He's really inspirational sheikh. For a long time he was the deputy of Maulana Sheikh Hisham, and served under him, and was basically his apprentice for many years. He's very good, alhamdulillah. Yes, the thing is, it's how we must understand things. If we put things in a way which is very sort of old-fashioned or very ethereal and it doesn't sound very real, we won't understand. But at the same time, I mean, I'm talking to you now through a phone and through a computer. Although I'm real here, inshallah, although I'm real, I'm being turned into a digital signal that's being beamed through Wi-Fi and being beamed all over the world. Yet there's a reality even to that signal. We understand this through the internet. There's a reality of things which are just made of light and electrical signals. So if we understand that there's a reality of things which are just made of light and electrical signals, we need to also realize this is true within what we refer to as spirituality and the spiritual realm. There's the technology in that case is us, it's the human body, it's the human heart, it's the human mind. And this mind is still superior to the computer that I'm sitting in front of or the computer which is inside my mobile phone. And if you think that this phone is picking up a signal and this computer is picking up a signal and is transmitting a signal, do you not think too that the human mind is also picking up energy and transmitting energy, that the human heart is also picking up energy and transmitting energy? A good example is when two people meet, let's say a man and a woman, you know, and they look into each other's eyes and they feel a connection and they start to fall in love with each other. Wa alaikum salam. And when that happens, as well as whatever is said, there's something else happening there. There's something else being transmitted, something between those two hearts, something which is unspoken, which shows that there are other energies which get transmitted between people. And if there's other energies that get transmitted between people, what about also between those energies that get transmitted between people and between their creator, or between people and angels, or between jinns and people, or other things that we cannot see? We now know through science that there are many things which we cannot see, which are outside the range of human vision, but it doesn't mean that they're not real. I mean, such as the signals, you know, that are coming from these phones. Now, they're not alive, they're electronic signals, but still they're real, they exist. Wa alaikum salam, sister. So it's like there's a reality there. Now, if there's a reality to these electronic signals, and this is what we are aware of, how much, you know, other realities are there that we're still unaware of, we're still learning about? And eventually science will catch up and science will understand these things. But spirituality already discusses them. Be careful where you go. Do they take your light or give you light? So they teach us, be vigilant of the heart. If you want these treasures to be placed upon the heart, you have to have istiqamah. You have to have firmness in your belief, firmness in the practices, firmness in the zikr, in the remembrance of God, and firmness in the love of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him. Ya Rabbi, my path is to love Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu more than I love myself. Or do you think you will enter paradise while Allah has not yet more evidence of those who fight in his cause and made evident those who are steadfast and patient? All I want are the shining suns that represent the love of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Am I not interested in sitting with anyone else because anyone else will take my jewels from my heart? Some people go everywhere like it is a free bazaar marketplace. You don't know who is putting jewels into your heart or who is taking the jewels from your heart, because within 2 or 3 words of what they say, you will find yourself having doubt and darkness come. So don't just go anywhere. You don't just pray anywhere. You want to make sure that it is a shining sun. And those are the lovers of Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu. You are going to deposit the love of Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu into my heart. If it is not, and they are not shining that light, they are going to send darkness into my heart. They are going to come against the Sunnah, the way of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu. They're going to come against the Hadith, the traditions of the Prophet Sallallahu. If we said before, in your heart and in your mind, don't ever say this is a weak Hadith. There is only a weak believer who is filled with shak and doubt. All they want now is to attack the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu, attack the greatness of Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu by constantly putting doubt, and they say only al-Quran. This is Hizbu Shaitan, people of Shaitan. Quran does not open without the love of Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu. We are not people who have any doubt. If you don't understand that it came from the Prophet Sallallahu, then you should be making tafakkur, contemplation, and connecting your heart with the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu. He Sallallahu will confirm within your heart exactly what it is and its reality. Now, the Shaykh here is highlighting to be careful who we spend company with. Now, at the beginning, he said, do they take your light or give you light? I think this is the more important point. Throughout the rest of it, he's mostly talking about Muslims. Now, Muslims vary in their approaches and understanding to Islam. But one of the things I've noticed is, I have friends who are Jews, Christians, Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists. And I found it interesting that among them are many who they do not try to put doubt into my heart. They themselves, even though they're on another path, seem to be filled with light and kindness and love. Now, I'm sure Shaykh Nurjan here is not suggesting we do not spend time with people like this, even though they are not Muslims. But what Shaykh Nurjan is saying here is to be careful of those people who, even if they come to you and say that we are Muslims, but then they're saying, oh, we don't accept this. You only need to follow the Quran. You don't need to read any hadith, or you don't need to listen to your sheikh, or you don't need to do this or that, or you don't need to do zikr, or you don't need to read salawat. This is what the sheikh is on about, people who put doubt in your heart like that. And of course, if you stop these practices, you will start to have more doubt. You will start to lose the light which these practices are attracting towards your heart. And also, you will lose the light because that darkness will start to cover your heart like a dark veil. And that dark veil will prevent you from being able to, will prevent the light from being able to reach your heart and being able to connect. The heart is the real sun. It means we took a path of how to open the heart. And as soon as we open the heart, we realize the organs and their importance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, if you don't have a sun, your galaxy is already dead. How are you going to manage my galaxy? So we go and say to the sheikh, I wonder if this person was enlightened. He is watching TV and levitating off the ground. Is he enlightened? Does he have spiritual power? That is very easy for us. If the person's heart is lit and lit with faith, that will dress all of the organs, from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, if one piece is good, all of that person is good. If the heart is bad, all of it is bad. This is the hadith itself. There is a piece of flesh in the body. If it becomes good, reformed, the whole body becomes good. But if it gets spoiled, the whole body gets spoiled. The heart emanating light, and that heart emanating light, and that is the heart. This means that if the heart is lit, the galaxy is a sun. Whatever practices they are doing, their heart is becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. And what is the most favored time for Islam? It's the full moon, the time of perfection, because the moon is capturing all the light of the sun. So then it will begin to teach. If your heart is lit, you lit the heart with Awliya Allah, lit it with zikr, remembrance, lit it with salawat, praising for the prophets, and lit it with Islam, submission. And you are now entering the realities with Iman, faith, and the heart is burning like a sun, and your face is like the moon. SubhanAllah. And you know, it's if you read enough zikr and salawat, you will sense the reality of this. This is not just words, it's not just sweet words that sound poetic and beautiful. But it's one of those things, unless you taste it for yourself, you will not understand. Just like you can see I'm drinking something here. Actually, you don't know if it is tea or coffee. You don't know if it's just water. It's actually Indonesian green tea that a dear lady gave me in Indonesia. She's a mother-in-law of a good friend of mine. And beautiful Indonesian green tea. Now, if you've never tasted Indonesian green tea, you will not know what this tastes like. You can see I'm drinking something, you can imagine, but you will not know what it tastes like. But, Bismillah, if you taste it, you know what it tastes like. It's the same with what I mentioned here. If you read enough zikr, if you read enough salawat with the right intentions, you will understand how your heart is a sun. But if you haven't, you won't understand. And then, of course, it's something which you've got to keep up, because if you don't keep it up, as the Sheikh said here, istiqamah, if you don't have that istiqamah, then you might experience something once, but you won't experience it again. But what is necessary, what is needed to really sort of raise your station and become spiritually purified, and to start to on those maqams, to get towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's divine presence, then you need to have istiqamah, you need to keep doing it. Make it a regular thing. This is why people might wonder, how come every Monday I'm here? Well, not here, I'm at the chaplaincy usually. But I'm reading zikr. I come, you see me come online. I do it to inspire other people. I was doing this I've been doing it for 23 years. I never used to come online to do it. This was something I only started during COVID, because I felt that, the mosques were closed. The mosques were closed at the time, and people couldn't have access to places for prayer and contemplation. People didn't have access to communities. And people were suffering from a lack of spiritual connection. And that's why I started doing it online. And it was not something that initially I even wanted to do, because it's a personal thing, or it's a private thing, and it's also a community thing when you do it together with a group of friends, and together you make a zikr and salawat purely for the sake of Allah. And most of the zikr I read is not in front of camera, but I started doing it because I felt people at that time needed the inspiration, and also to make it known that I'm here for anybody who needs help and support. And I mean, as a Muslim chaplain, it's important that people are aware of that. But it's not something I particularly wanted to do. And then when people were telling me it was helping them, and I continued with it. And I continued with these Friday reflections that I started at the same time, reading from a book on a Friday. But I mean, all of these things, again, it depends on the intention. Why are you doing it? What is the purpose behind it? And I'm not a person, as you probably noticed, who goes out there with dawah tables, and this is not an approach of dawah which I think is really constructive or useful. I think it backfires a lot. But the posts they put online, these sorts of videos, inshallah, if it inspires someone, if it benefits even one person and helps them to recenter and find some benefit in it and some blessing, then it's been worth it. And this is why I do it. In the service of Allah, in the service of the Prophet Muhammad, in the service of my sheikhs. And I hope you find some benefit in it. If you have, then all the thanks goes to Allah, the Prophet Muhammad, my sheikhs and my parents. And if I've made any mistakes, then please forgive me, because the mistakes are my own. Life depends on the imitated son. Imagine the power Allah gave to the Awliya Allah. People of tafakkur, contemplation, stop there and make tafakkur. What power does the sun have on creation? If that is an imitated son, and Awliya Allah and pious people, if their hearts become a real son, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them. Nurul Anwar wa Siratul Asra, the light of every secret and the secret of every light. If that nur, light, really opens within their heart, what type of power does that light have? Don't you take your vision from the sun? Don't you take your breath from the sun? Isn't all that vegetation you are eating from the Shams, sun? What then are you getting from the Awliya Allah, the saints, if their souls are more powerful than the sun? Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam said, "They are all bowing down to me, which means my station is above their station." What are you then taking from their souls if their heart is emanating and dressing? What do you take from the moon? How it raises vegetation, how it brings the tides up and down. It means everything on this dunya, worldly life, is affected by that moon. So it is not something small, it is huge, that Shaitan's only interest is to make sure no one reaches that reality. If you should reach that reality, you are more powerful than 1,000 men on this dunya, on this world. If your heart becomes a sun, it is a sun in which eyes can see. We talked about the sun in the heavens, how it is shining continuously. Then it has night. Then when it enters the earth, it is daylight. The sun is always shining, but we don't have the eyes to see its light. Only when it enters dunya, we can see that line of it, that electromagnetic pulsar. When it enters into dunya, Allah gives us the ability to see. So what light Allah is sending upon the souls of the awliya and the realities of those souls, they open their hearts, and their heads become like a full moon, and every organ of their body is governed in its reality. And this is the thing, it's we're like mirrors. You know, the Prophet Muhammad Sallam said that a brother is his brother's mirror. You could say the sister is a sister's mirror as well. We're all mirrors to each other. Prophet Muhammad Sallam was a mirror as well, but he was reflecting divine light through his mirror, the mirror of his heart. And we're all mirrors. Now, if our mirror is dirty, you can't see an image in it. You can't see a reflection in it. If you polish the mirror, then you can see the reflection. And that's what all of this prayer and worship and contemplation and reading Quran, it's not that which is the thing. That is the tool. That is the means. The ends, what you're trying to achieve, is to polish that mirror, so that the light that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends through the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and reflected through that mirror is reflected through the mirror of the Awliya Allah, and through the Awliya Allah is reflected to your heart. And maybe from your heart, if you polish your mirror, is also reflect to someone else's heart. And then everyone's connected with this light. And love and goodness increases in all these hearts. And we start to manifest the human reality that we're supposed to be manifesting instead of a shaitanic reality. May Allah bless you all. I hope you've benefited from this and enjoyed this. I look forward to seeing you on Monday for my weekly Sohbet and Sufi meditation. If you're in Birmingham, you're most welcome to join me in my office at St. Francis Hall, which is next to the Student Guild at the University of Birmingham in Edgbaston. If you are elsewhere in the world, you're most welcome to join me through Zoom, well, not through Zoom, through YouTube and through Instagram, like we do every week. Wherever you are in the world, I would like to wish you Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And if you're in the UK, have a very good evening. Until next time.